Hello, I don't know if anybody's here, but I thought since I had some time after dinner and stuff, yeah, it's 9:30, but anyway, I thought I would um, come on live. I'm trying to figure out this encoding software thing. I don't know. So hopefully this will work and we'll have people here soon. If not, like I said, it will be recorded and it will be on my channel. Now, um, I'm making a 7x7 mini album, and so I've cut 6 pages at 7x7 and 6 pages at 7x8, and I scored the 7x8 pieces on the 8-inch side at 1/2 inch and 7.5. So then I applied my score tape to the sides. And so now I'm just taking off the score tape and I'm going to place the 7x7 piece, hello Daisy, on top of that to create the pages. It looks like this camera is like autofocusing. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to deal with that. So as always, I have scored a little bit crooked and I have a little hangover on the paper, not me. And I'm just going to trim that off. And I'm just being careful not to cut the folded paper. So I've already done three of them while I was waiting for this software to download so that I could stream. I had software downloaded, but then all of a sudden it did not work. So then I had to find a new program and then download that. And apparently you can now stream from your webcam, but every time I tried to do that, it said that my webcam was busy, and it was not busy. It might be doing something I don't know what's doing, but it didn't look like it. So, just trimming this again. So how is everybody doing? Summer's almost over. Oh man, let me see if I can stop this stupid thing from autofocusing. I don't know if I open this up if it'll jack it up or not, but kids are going back to school, so that must make a bunch of people happy. I remember when my kids were in school, I wasn't a stay-at-home mom, so it didn't bother me too much when they were out of school. I'm trying to figure out how to change the settings on here. Oh, maybe this is it. Because I don't want it to auto zoom, because every time I move my hands, it's going to auto zoom. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. Sorry, I'll try to not move my hands so much, because then I don't know what to say about the auto zooming. I'll have to ask my son after this video how to stop it. It's just taking control of the camera, and I can't get into the camera settings because it says that it's being used, which it is because I'm recording on it. Okay, so I have those 6 pages done. And then I have cut 3 pages at 7.5 by 7 because I've decided that I'm going to do a couple of flaps. So On the back of the first page, I'm going to do a flap. So the left, or no, I'm sorry, this is the right. I know my left from right. The right side is going to be where the tag goes in, and the left side is going to be for the binding. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take one of these sheets that I've scored at 1/2 inch on the top. So it's 7.5 by 7, and I scored at 1/2 inch on the 7.5 inch side. And what this is going to do is this is going to just give me a flap to attach onto the top. And I don't know if anybody watching had seen my Facebook post, but somebody asked me to make an album for them, so I decided to like sketch it out a little bit. I don't normally do that at all. Normally what I do is I just start making an album. I cut paper and I tape it places, and that's just what I do. I have a piece of chalk here so that it comes off, and I'm just going to label my pages just so that I know for myself. And then page 3, so that's page 1, 2. The back of page 3 is also going to have a flap, but instead of it opening on the top like this, I am going to have it open horizontally. This is going to be the front, so I'm putting front there. Okay, so I'm taking that away. So this flap here, and again, I'm using the same 7.5 by 7. I'm going to have it extend out on the left side of the page. So this is going to be the binding here. So when you flip it over, the binding's on this side now, and I'm going to have the page flap open up that way. So I'm just cutting off the corners so that when I mat this or put the paper on top of it, you can't see this flap. If you had 12 by 12 paper, you wouldn't need necessarily, for this size you would, because it's 7 by 7, but if you were making a smaller album, you could probably get it out of one sheet. So now this is the way it's going to open. I'm just going to flip it over, cut off a little bit, because again, either I can't cut straight or score straight. This is 3, the back. And I have one more page flap, and that is going to be on forefront. Okay, so it's going to be on the back of page 4. And I'm doing the exact same thing I've been doing. I'm applying the adhesive. Hello from Canada, Brazil, Florida, Northern Alberta, Canada. Okay, Daisy, the measurements for the actual base page are, you're going to need 6 sheets that measure 7 by 7, and you're going to need 6 sheets that measure 8 by 7. The 8-inch ones, you're going to score on the 8-inch side at 1/2 inch and 7.5. And then you're going to need 3 sheets for these flaps that measure 7 by 7.5. And on the 7.5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And what I mean by on the 7.5 inch side, this paper measures 7.5. So with the 7.5 going across the top of your scoring tool, you're going to want to score at 1/2 inch. So let's do this just not to confuse anybody. So it's 7.5 inch across the top, and I scored at 1/2 inch. If you have, sometimes I feel like my fingers are chubby and they get in the way and I can't hold the paper correctly, then I'll score at on the other side 1/2 inch. I'm trying to decide. I have one that opens up. I wonder if I should open it up from the bottom then. Decisions. Hello from Argentina. Oh, thank you. They're press-on nails. See, because I'm cheap. I was doing my own acrylic, but then when my mom moved in, she couldn't breathe that stuff in. Even though I was all the way downstairs, it would bother her breathing, so I stopped doing them. So because I hadn't had practice in like 2 years, I'm afraid to even get the stuff back out. I'm gonna put it on the top because I don't know. That's just what I'm doing. So this is 4 back, and then 5 and 6. Looks like I need to cut one more sheet because I think I was putting a flap on 5. So there will be, the first page won't have a flap, and the last page won't have a flap, but all the pages in between will have a flap. So I'm going to cut this at 7.5 inches, and then I'm going to cut it at 7. And I'm saving the bigger scraps because I think we might be able to use them for maybe matting or like matting the journaling spots. So again, this is 7.5 inches at the top, and I'm going to hold it down here, and I'm going to score at 7 inches. If you wanted to, you could put it in there and score at 1/2 inch. It's the same difference. It's just some people like to score next to the edge and some people don't. So I just fold it on that and do my score tape. So does anybody watch beauty channels? Because I have to admit, when I'm laying in bed, I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the beauty community. All right, so I'm gonna make this flap go out horizontally. So this is the front of page 5, so I'm going to put it on the back, and again my binding is going right here on this side here. So I'm going to put this flap going out this way, and the reason why I prefer to do it that way is because I don't want to open it up here just in case the album gets too thick and it doesn't lay flat. Then this page isn't going to open up flat either. It'll just look weird, and I don't want that. So this is 5 back, and then this is page 6, 6 back. So there are the pages. Now I was asked to do a specific design, which I'm not going to say because I don't know if the person it's intended to is like watching or anything, so I'm not going to say. So what I've done is I found cardstock that matches the design. Whoa, almost had it out there. Matches the design of the image. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use these. Where's the blue? I have no blue. Use these pages as the backgrounds for them, and then also I will use some other paper, if that makes any sense, because these colors match perfectly. At least my printer. I printed out a picture, so we'll see what happens. This, I believe, is for a boy, so the majority of the backgrounds I'm going to try to use the blues. This one irritates me because it doesn't like completely match these, but it matches the picture. Let me fold the picture just a little bit. And then, no. Yeah, it matches the picture. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so since my pages are 7 by 7, to cover these pages with patterned paper, you personally unsubscribe to let them. I agree. It's crazy. Yeah, getting paid 60,000. If you don't know what's going on, there's this some uproar in the beauty community about how much they get paid to do sponsored videos. And like some people get paid $60,000 per video to do a sponsored video. So how do you know what they're saying is true? How do you know if they really like the product or they're just doing it because they want the money? Like I've done some sponsored videos, but only through things that I actually use. Like I still use these pens, these Parker pens I did a thing on, and obviously, you know, I'm crazy about planners, so I do the videos on the planners. So, but I don't know how many of those people actually like what they're doing. Now, what was I doing? Okay, so I'm cutting this. So this is 7, so I need to make it 6.5, right? No, it's a 1/4 inch. So 6 3/4. So I'm gonna cut these blue pages at 6 3/4. I can't really start putting all the design stuff on there until I get these matted with cardstock first. I guess I'll go quickly through what my plans are. So this first page is going to have a place for a photo and place for journaling. And then the back of the first page is going to have like journaling and a photo. And then it's going to flip up and there's going to be places for 2 pictures on the front of the flip and the back of the flip. And then a place for a 4x6 and then design. And then the third page is going to have a picture and then like a clear pocket to hold birth bracelets. You know, when you go to the hospital and the mother and the child have bracelets with their names and stuff on them. I think they still do that. So I have to try to figure out how to design a pocket. I think what I'm going to use is my fuse tool and fuse a pocket. I'm going to then, I think the third page had the flap. So there's going to be spots for 4 3x4 photos on both of those flaps. Let's see. And then, yeah, so here's that one, and here's the 2 flaps I was just speaking of. Page 4 is going to have a 4x6 photo, information about the first tooth, like when it popped in and when the first tooth fell out, because obviously, usually it's the first tooth that comes in is the first tooth that falls out, and there's going to be a spot to put the tooth. And then there's on the back of page 4, this is going to be bath time, have a picture and then info on like their first bath, because you know it's exciting to give the baby the first bath at home. And then page 5 is going to be about like milestones, like the first time they can roll over. So I put 2 spots for pictures on there so that, you know, obviously you can't see in a photo of the actual baby rolling over, so it'll be a picture of like maybe the baby on the back and the baby on the stomach, and then some information about the day or time or something, journaling down here about that. Picture for I can sit up, I can stand, I can walk. And then page 6 is going to have information about like the favorite foods or first foods that you feed the baby. And the back of page 6, 5, I don't know, maybe 1 year anniversary or 1 year birthday or something. I don't know where the back of page, I'll have to come up with that because apparently I'm missing the back of page 6. So on the front of the album, I'm going to have a pocket, like maybe an accordion fold pocket so that they can stick brochures or like maybe cards that people gave them. And on the back cover, I'm going to have a waterfall. And then there's going to be a box. So on the left side of the box is going to be where the album is. And then I'm going to make the box bigger so that on the right side, there's a spot to put little memorabilia in. So there's going to be a 4 1/4 by 4 1/2 spot and a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Hopefully, if everything works out, that's what the plan is for this album. So, yeah, I don't know if they know how to invest or not. So true. That's why I have a full-time job, because there's no way. I don't even make enough, like on the advertising to even buy a pad of paper a month. So, and for me personally, it's not about making money, it's about sharing what I like. I didn't even have monetization on my videos until last year. So, I mean, it is what it is. Some people do it for different reasons. I just do it because I like sharing. I like teaching. Thank you, Lynn. So 6 3/4. What I'll try to do at the end of the album, maybe I'll try to make a video so it's not so chatty and not so long, of just making the pages. I'm sure I have to make a wedding album for somebody, and maybe I can use the same design for that wedding album. So how many pages do I have? 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll see. I don't know how much paper I have in these colors, so I'm going to have to lay it out right. I did try to find a specific design that she was asking about, but they don't make scrapbook paper in this design, so I can't really make them in that design. So I'm just trying to go with the colors that are in the picture that I have of this specific object, and then go from there, and hopefully it'll work out that way. I love this cutter, but I really do not like how the line, you can't really see the 6 3/4 mark or the 7 1/4 mark very well on this. So I'm gonna have to, I think, buy the one that, I think it's 8 by 8. The bed's 8 inches, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so I have a page that's not, oh no, what did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How did I miss counting? Why'd you guys let me do that? So there's a page with no flap. That's fine, because the last page is going to have the waterfall on it. So that can go there. Oh, you know what? I can use this too, because this sticks out a lot. And some of them, and I guess I can use this blue. We'll see. Maybe it doesn't turn out right and I have to redo it all. You never know. I'm not using any paper collection because the lady that wants me to make the album just told me, like, I'm just going to say something that's not what it is, okay? Rainbow unicorns, okay? And there was no paper that I could find with rainbow unicorns. And the name is deceiving because it's not a rainbow as we think of red, yellow, blue, green, orange. It's not that kind of a rainbow. The unicorn has this color blue. It has magenta. And it has this color blue and a little bit of like teal in it. So it's not even a regular rainbow. So like I can't even take rainbow paper because they have rainbow background paper. But I couldn't even use that because that's really not what it is. It's kind of deceiving, but that's the way it is. So again, I'm saving all my scraps, even these kind of scraps, so that when I'm decorating, I can use them if I need them. If not, then I'll throw them away. I used to save all my scraps, but honestly, I don't use them. I got into that habit when I was making cards more often, and it's just a hassle. If it's a big piece, like I just take a little bit out, I might save that. But anymore, I still make cards, do birthday cards and stuff, but it's just not really worth saving the big scraps. Okay, so I'm going to make a big loud noise now, I think, because I have to get inside my, nope, it's not right. Sometimes I knock stuff over and then it's really loud. So the first one, go back to this. I'm going to put this color on the first one. And this is just an ATG gun. I get the generic ATG tape from, it's either Tape Monkey or Tape Jungle. I think it's Tape Jungle. But I order it once a year around tax time, and I get the full case of like 244. And then when I go to my scrapbooking events or crops, and I have several people who I just charge the actual price. I don't charge any extra because I never use all of it. So, you know what? I'm going to make the cover because I don't want my pages to get messed up. So, let me get my chipboard. Okay, so I have two, actually I have three pieces. I don't know how I got three, but I have the chipboard here. It's 12 by 12, and I haven't looked in a while because I haven't needed it, but I usually get this on either joann's.com or scrapbook.com for really cheap. So since my pages are 7 by 7, I'm going to make my covers 7.5 by 7.5. I have to stand up. I don't know what this, I've gotten asked several times what this cutter is called, and it's just the Frisco's rotary cutter as far as I know. There's no names. It says blade style F, but other than that, and they do have refill blades for this as well. But I like this for cutting chipboard. That way I don't get my regular cutter dull as quickly. Still have to go through it a couple times, but so all right, so I have this piece left over here, so I'm going to use that for the spine. And normally I make my spines around 2 inches with a 1/4 inch gussets in there. But I'm afraid with the pockets for the tooth and the stuff, it's going to have to be bigger. And honestly, I should probably make the hinge now. So I'm going to cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet down to 7 inches because that's the size of the page. And then I'm going to bring, I could use, I could do I'd have to do math. Am I ready for math this late at night? Because Laura Dennison has the, what does she call it? The different kind of hinge system. All right, so I can't think of what's hers called. Stack the deck, that's what hers is called. So hers is like a sheet of paper that's like this, and the flaps are 1/2 inch, and then this part here changes. So like if your biggest one is 2 inches in the middle, so that would be 3 inches wide, right? So if you want, so that would be one, say, her stack the deck. So this one, if you wanted 1/2 inch here, so that would be 1 inch. And then if you want to put it in the middle of there, then you would need to make this 1 inch. So it would be 2 inches. So then you would stack that on top of there, blah, 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 blah. So Hers is a lot easier to do. I can just never remember the measurements when I'm doing the album. So if I made this 4 inches, and then 1/2 inch for that, 1/2 inch for that. One, two, three. Yeah. Math, not good. And you would think, if I had time to think about it and like I felt like I wasn't rushing, I could do that. Okay, so it's 11 inches across, and I'm going to make my wing 1 inch. And this wing is what's going to attach to the front cover. And then the gussets, you need 2 of the same measurement, so I'm making my gussets 1/2 inch. And then I think I'm going to make, yeah, 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch for my gusset instead of 1/4 inch. So I'm going just 1 line past the 1/4 inch mark on here. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to count 4 ticks over, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1/2 inch, 1, 2, 3, 1 past, 1 past, 1, 2, 3, 1/2 inch. Whoops, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I know a lot of people say I go too fast, and even when I slow down, they complain. I that's just my speed. Like at first I wasn't like that, but after years and years of doing it, you become faster. I just was rubbing that because I started to score on the wrong line. And so that way you can't really see it. Not that it matters. So this is page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have the 6 pages. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this last part off at 1 inch. You don't really need to. It's gonna be on the binding. So now all I'm doing is folding on all of my score marks just to break the fibers in the paper. And then I'm going to apply adhesive to every other 1/2 inch that I scored. And then I will fold it together. I do have a video on the binding that's much slower and in more detail, should you need to do that, especially since this thing keeps on trying to autofocus. I always get this thumbs down from somebody. There's always one thumbs down on every single one of my videos. I think it's funny. I like haters. I pray for them at night. But I don't really care. So, and don't worry, the next one I either won't do live if I can't figure out how to turn off the autofocusing, because personally for me, that drives me nuts when I see people's videos like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I got them all. So now I'm just going to remove the tape backing, and I'm going to stick the 1/2 inch piece that has the tape to the 1/2 inch piece that does not have the tape on it. And then I'm going to fold back whatever I just folded over, just so I can see the next lines. And it appears that I jacked this all up. I have 2 scores in between there because my mouth was running. So I'm just going to take this tape off here and see if I can fix those score marks. See, going fast does not have benefits sometimes. So that's 1/2, and there's the score mark. So let's make sure I get this right this time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the score mark should be here. Oh, right on top of that tape too. going to flip it over, and I'm going to try and burnish the bad score marks. They're bad. They're grounded. They're going home. So 1, 2, 3. Let's get this right here. Just made a deep score mark here, and I'm going to put the tape kind of against that score mark so that I know where to score here, and the new score mark. There we go. So again, fold that on top of there, and then fold this back. Okay, see, never happened. Can't prove it. I mean, don't rewind the video or anything, but can't prove it. Hello, Salzaful. All right. What, Lynn, what does message retracted mean? Did you like put a message and then change your mind? Hello from Guadalajara. And thank you, Manjula. I'm sorry if I'm chopping your name. I get used to people. Chandra is not like, I don't know. It's either Chandra or Chandra, they call me. It's fine. It is what it is, right? Your mom named you something jacked up. You're used to it. All right. So I have my hinges done. Hey, Chris, you wouldn't happen to know anything about whatever this is, on how to stop the video from autofocusing? It was not letting me access the controls to my webcam, and I had to use this this whatever. What is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, X broadcaster. See how it's autofocusing? And I can't.
Why are you using that? I thought you had OBS.
OBS doesn't let you do from the thing.
Yeah, it does.
Oh. Well, that's a bunch of BS, OBS. Anyway, all right. I still have it downloaded, but okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my hinge. So, okay, what? So my hinge is about 2.5 inches. It's about 2 3/8 to be exact, but I'm just going to cut the spine at 2.5 inches. All right, there we go. So I don't know. I don't know if you know this or not, but it's been several years now. We had 4 cats, and one was like, I don't know, 16 or 17 years old. One was 12. One was like 8. And we feed our cats the grain-free cat food, but like they all got sick. One was diabetic, and we had to give her shots 2 times a day. And then one, we don't know what happened to her because like she was a rescue. She literally just showed up in my garage, so we kept her. And she would have seizures, and there was no like medical reason. They just said it must have been something from her brain, like maybe somebody beat her or what have you. So now what I'm doing is I'm taping 2 12 by 12 black sheets together so that I can assemble the covers. So long story short, the 16-year-old passed away, and they never did figure out what was wrong with him. Oh no, I lied. He had a brain tumor. Little cat, which was the 11-year-old, went into the diabetic shock, and they couldn't get her out of it. And then the last one, the one that we rescued, she had some kind of like cancer that they never could figure out. So they all died within a year, and it sucked really bad. But the last cat that was, raised around them, his name is Tucky, for the University of Kentucky, and he was kind of the pain in the butt of the cats. Like, he would get mad and he would pee, like if he got mad, or like if the litter box isn't completely clean, he'll pee outside the litter box, and so you're constantly cleaning up after him. It drives me nuts. I was going to try to cut this paper down just to make it more manageable, but I'm not going to really worry about it. So what I've done on the spine is I've just put score tape on the spine, and now I'm going to take it off and I'm going to stick it in the middle where I attach these two pages. I agree with you, Lynn. If they don't like it, they shouldn't be watching it. So now we took our cats in, and we adopted like 2 more cats, so we have 3 cats, and we adopted them from like a shelter type place, a rescue place, and we took them all in. They're doing fine, but the one that is now 16, Tucky, had this like spot on his back, and they took it off, and they said they were going to send it away for testing, and then that they would call us with the results or something. So they called on Saturday, and I was canning tomatoes with my dad, and I missed the call. So then I call back yesterday, because they were open yesterday, and she says, well, we're going to have the doctor call you. So I waited and I waited. Finally, 9:30 at night, she hadn't called me. So I call back today, and the doctor's off today, and they wouldn't tell me the test results over the phone. So I'm thinking, the negative part of me is thinking that it must be bad. I don't like it. I don't think Tucky's ever been on camera because he's one of those weirdy cats. So now I'm just sticking 2 pieces of chipboard together and smashing it against the side of the spine so that I can put the cover on that, so that when I open it up, there's space for the paper and stuff. So I guess I didn't need to put that much. Normally I round the corners or the outside perimeter with score tape, and then I do this. And I don't know why I didn't do that on the other one. So now I'm gonna have to bug the doctor tomorrow to find out the test results, and I'm a little worried. And he's got like, he's one of those cats. He's not a Maine cat or moon cat or whatever, Maine coon cat, but he's pretty darn big. And so for years, like, he was 22 pounds at one time, and for years they told us he had to lose weight. So he finally lost 3 pounds, and I think personally, I think it's because we got new cats, and now they're 3 years old, but he plays more, and so he's a little bit more energetic than he was. So I think that he lost weight because of that, but now they're saying, oh, it's bad because the cat lost weight. And I feel like, wait, first you said that he needed to, and now you're saying it's not good. I just hate when animals are sick. You know, it's not as easy. And if you want to give a test for your cat, forget it. I don't know how many blood tests and x-rays, and I think we even got a CAT scan on the cat with the tumor. They're expensive. I'm not saying I wouldn't spend whatever I needed to for my cat, but they're making a killing. That's all I'm saying. So I'm just folding the paper around the covers now. I like to fold it and then take my bone folder and press against the chipboard just to give it, I don't know, a little oomph. Okay, camera, you're going, man. I'm just telling you now. So doing that, and then once you fold it, you'll end up with this square, and I'm going to cut outside that square at an angle towards the point, but don't get too close to that point because then you won't be able to wrap your album. Well, you'll be able to wrap it, but the chipboard will show on the corner, and that for this, I think it would be okay because it's black and you can just take a permanent marker. But like when you're using other colors, it really does stick out like a sore thumb. The chipboard there. So I'm not saving these. And these don't need to be this big, but it is what it is. So now I'm going to apply adhesive all along the perimeter of the album. Chipboard covers themselves. And then I will run some along the perimeter of the paper. On the inside between those two adhesives, I will use the ATG gun just to make sure that it doesn't bubble up on me after a while. I want to tell you something about this tape. I'm awful talkative tonight, but anyway. I have a couple years ago, okay, maybe it's been more than a couple, but I stuck a bunch of albums that I had already made in boxes and put them out in the garage because I was going to paint my scrapbook room. So I started moving stuff out in the garage so that I could paint. And they have been out there for ever since. I want to say it's been 4 years, 4 or 5 years maybe. And the tape is still on them. Like no pages have fallen apart. And the garage is not climate controlled. It's just a garage. It's hot in the summer, cold in the winter. Paint freezes. So I just thought it was kind of cool. Of course, I didn't have any pictures on them, but I can't imagine that if the papers didn't fall off and you're using the same tape. See, when you create this, there might be a little bit of a point, like the paper might point out. I don't cut it because every time I do, I accidentally cut into it and it looks worse. So I just take my bone folder and press it. Yes, I still have a cat that likes to bother me when I'm recording. For some reason, she's not here. And usually, if I'm talking to myself, she will be up here. So I don't know. She must be stuck in one of the boys' rooms. If I shake something that sounds like cat treats, she will be down here in a minute. But I don't think I have any. Oh, I can get her. You want to see her? We just got our Chewy box in, so I can go rip some treats out of it. Hold on. I'm just trying to walk in here quietly. There's one. Come here. Chloe. Oh, she doesn't want to see you. All right, well, my plan has failed. Only one came and she doesn't want to be up here. She's a fatty patati. She's Chloe's, or Gracie's sister. But okay, so now I have this. So now I'm going to first cut the corners off of both sides of the hinge, of the flap. It just makes the pages go in better. Yeah, like when I'm doing my homework, she'll just lay on the laptop and I'm like, whoa, 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 you're shutting stuff off, man. I don't mind if she's up here, except for when I'm painting or when I'm dealing with tape, because like then her hair gets stuck all over everything. Speaking of painting, there's a gal at work who started a campaign type thing for her daughter committed suicide, and so she has a thing called Rock Kindness for Chloe. And what it is people paint rocks and they hide them around, and you can either keep the rock or pass it on. And people post on the Facebook page when they find the rocks. So when I was at my dad's house, he has a big pile of rocks that he had gotten a long time ago for landscaping and stuff, and he still has a big pile. And so I asked him if I could take some of the rocks. So I took some rocks and I plan on painting them. And you put like little sayings and stuff on them. Would you be interested in seeing a video of just painting rocks? Let me know. All right, so now I have the adhesive on the back of the hinge. I am going to, whoa. See, nails are pretty, but they're not good for tape removal backing. All right, let's see. What else? I feel like I have to fill the whole space with my voice. Like I can't be quiet because it's a live video. Am I annoying anybody yet? All right, so I'll be quiet for one whole minute. Ducky. I lied, see? Come here. You want some treats? You want some treats? All right, that meow was good. Here, you get 4. This cute wellness brand. They love it, but they only like the whitefish treats. They're snobs. I get it for Chewy because you could save 5% and like it's expensive cat food, but I mean, if they're gonna bring my cat food to my door and I don't have to carry it, I'm all for it. And no, I'm not sponsored. We've been ordering from there for a long time now. Because it started off because every time we went to the pet store, they were out of the cat food. Like they only stocked like maybe 2 or 3 bags or something. And they must have ran out a lot. I'm just spacing this, trying to space it in between. When I folded it, now there's 2 lines. I don't know if you guys can see them. So I'm trying to evenly space it between this way and this way. So vertical and horizontal. And I don't like the way this, where I had to repair the hinge. I don't like how it's bowing out. So I'm going to stick some tape in there. Paper is something that even though you mess up, okay, Lynn, I will make a video of me painting the rocks. And also, there was a cool post on Pinterest. I'm like obsessed with cactuses, have been forever. And so I got some rocks that were shaped like cactuses, and I plan on making a little cactus plants. So I am centering this again between vertically the lines and horizontally the album itself. And I think I need to get my mop in the way. Sorry, I'm not missing anything. All right, so now I'm just gonna press that down, and I like to press the middle down, and then I will fold the hinges and burnish them one way and then fold the next way. Okay. So if you feel like it's not down enough after burnishing and it's sticking up anywhere, you can stick some wet glue back there and then use like binder clips or sometimes even paper clips work to hold that down more for you. Okay, so there's, okay, so here's the first page. Oh my goodness, I forgot to put tape down. Here we go. What else is new? I'm more than halfway done by, I think, like 2 classes. I have until next August to go for school, and that's just for my associates. I'm still trying to decide if I want to go for my bachelor's or if I'm going to be happy with just an associate's. And I just did it because I just kind of felt like, and I'm not saying that because people don't have a degree they're worthless. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I felt was that I wasn't as good as I could be, maybe because I didn't have a degree. And in transportation, when you didn't have to have a degree to make good money. And now that I'm no longer in transportation, although I would love to be again, it's a little different. So, all right, so now I'm going to do these one at a time. I'm going to take off the tape backing and put this in there. And again, because I have the flaps on there, I'm just going to be careful to make sure that I am putting them on there correctly. So I just stick my fingers in here and open it, and then if you stick your finger, you can see, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm putting my middle finger and I'm pressing it against the corner of the folded thing so it opens up the bottom a little bit, and I will put on the bottom and then roll it kind of to the front. And when you have a flap, sometimes it's easier just to open the flap, that way you can get it in there. Once I have it all the way on there, I'm going to fold it down and then press. I don't know why, that's just what I do. So I'm going to do the second one. And just continue to do that. After this, I think, I don't know how long the video has been playing, but I think what I'll do is I'll stop this video. Second. I might end up making, did I make a, it's bothering me that there might be 2 pages that don't have flaps, because I did something wrong. So I might stick another flap. No, I already did, didn't I? Oh, I can't even remember now. See, this is what happens when you go to work, you come home, you clean, then you cook dinner, and then you read U.S. history. So that one, this one went to the side. This one's gone up. So this one's, like, I'm talking to myself, even though you guys are here. You're not answering me. I don't know why. Sometimes I can't get them straight either, and I think it's because I can't get the pages straight. I think it's because of maybe the scoring or whatever. Yeah, see, so there's 2 pages that do not have flaps, and that's not going to be acceptable for my OCD brain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up making one more flap, and then I will probably cut, I'll make the flap, and it's probably going to be another side flap. Whatever was the last flap page, I'm going to do the opposite. That way there's some cohesiveness to it. So there's up, sideways. So I'm going to make another flap that opens up. So I just need, I thought I cut this already. Anyway, I'm going to cut this at 7.5, and I'm going to do it on the 8.5 inch side just so that this side has a little bit more paper. I don't know. I'm going to stick it into my scoreboard so that the 7.5 inch side is at the top. I'm going to score it half inch. I know I made another page. What did I do with it? Oh, that's what I did. I stuck it on the first page, which is fine. Just going to take it off the first page. You could leave it there. I mean, you don't have to take it off. What I'm using is the little spatula from the Cricut. If you stick it in between the, see how here there's like really no tearing, and then right here there is. Well, there's not. You can kind of peel back the tape without any issues to the paper underneath. I do use Undo It. I do love Undo, but Undo has undone me because I can't find it. So that's page 1, 2, 4, 5 is on the back. So I'm going to put this one on the back as well. If it's easier for you, you can put all of your base pages together first and then create the flaps, so you don't have the same situation I did where you got your pages out of order when you were putting them in. And it doesn't really matter because the person that's receiving it doesn't know what you intended. You know, they don't know that you were trying to do it every other one or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video, and then I'm going to finish matting all of these pages, and I'm just going to stick the design paper on there, and then I will try and come back. I'll try to record it so that there's no, hello Shirley, so that there's no of this stupid autofocus thing that's going on. And then I will be back. I might have cut the papers already just to save some time, but I will always let you know what the measurements are. Oh, also for this, you're going to need 6 pages that measure 6 3/4 by 6 3/4, and those are going to be the tags that go inside of your pockets. If you want them to stick out a bit, I do believe that they will, because the half-inch flap, hinge, there you go. The half-inch hinge is going to be sticking up there 1/2 inch. So even if you cut these at 6 1/4 or 6 3/4, 6 3/4 plus 1/2 inch is 7 1/4. So it's going to stick out a little bit because the page itself is only 7 inches. So I hope that made sense. So I'm going to do that. I will be back. I'm going to continue to work tonight, but I will record it because I don't know when I'll get to, if I'll get to craft tomorrow or not, because I'm meeting a friend for dinner. So there's that. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next video in this series. Thanks. Bye.